We're going. Well, good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Eleanor Chatterton. I am a librarian at the St. Louis Public Library. I work in the Central Library downtown in the Science and Technology Room, which is where the starting and running of business books are. It is also where our Patent and Trademark Resource Center is. And so if you have questions about trademarks or patents or intellectual property, I know a little bit more than the average librarian and can get you started. Um, Thanks for joining us for um, Online Business Basics during an economic disruption. We have one more program scheduled for the beginning of next month, and that is Business Model Canvas Customer Discovery. I'll post a link to that in the chat at the end of the program. Um, I'll also send that link out to an email to everyone who registered, and as well as a recording of today's program. So if you missed something today, don't need to worry. You'll get a link to that recording sometime next week. Um, so I mentioned we had that one more program scheduled. We are planning more. If you have ideas about things you would like to see from the library, please feel free to let me know. We're here to serve you. Um, Everyone is muted. Please interact in the chat, but feel free to enable your camera or not as you want to. And that is about all I have to say. If you have any questions, I'll be, checking the chat so I can help with that. Um, and so now I will introduce our presenter. Our presenter today is Amina Abdul Malik. She is a business counselor at the St. Louis Small Business Technology and Development Center, and she is good with starting things up in business plan development. So with that, I will turn it over to Amina.
Thank you so much, Eleanor, and thank you so much to the St. Louis Public Library for hosting and facilitating this programming. And of course, thank you all so much for joining me today in Online Business Basics. Today, we will be going over a basic outline and framework for you all as entrepreneurs to prepare yourselves to get your businesses online or strengthen your business's online presence. So today we'll be discussing the different items that go into a more comprehensive marketing strategy, some of the things you need to know in order to get started marketing your business and building your business's presence online. And also we'll dive into some of these helpful, free or inexpensive tools that are out there available for you all to use to help strengthen your online presence. Before we get started, if we could, since we have a smaller, more intimate group with us today, if you all would like to use the chat box and briefly just tell me a little bit about your business, or if you'd like to share if your business is already online in some capacity, does your business already have a website, a Facebook page, or you can even just share what brought you to the class today as we get started. But I had a beautiful introduction by Eleanor, but once again, my name is Amina Abdul Malik, and I am a business counselor with the Small Business Development Centers. If you haven't heard of the Small Business Development Centers, we are a nationwide network of business support organizations. So we help entrepreneurs like yourselves start and grow their existing businesses. We help through one-on-one counseling that comes at no cost to you. And we also assist through technical training programs such as the one we are in now. So thank you all so much for joining us. My background is in sales as well as marketing. And then I ended up going to get a master's in finance as well. So everything small business is, if it's not up my alley, I typically will know another organization or someone else who can support you all. And of course, I like to keep everything as informal as possible, keep it fun. If you have any questions, Eleanor, I was going to say, since we have a small group, you can, if I don't know if they're all muted right now, you can, I was going to say you can leave it open for them to unmute if you like, and that's no problem. So you all can unmute freely. If you have a question at the end of the slide, please feel free to unmute yourselves and shout it out, or you can also post it in the chat as well. And then Crystal, thank you so much for joining us, Crystal. She says, I have a cooking show on a Roku channel called Taste on TV. That sounds very interesting. So you already have a website set up, Instagram and Facebook account. Okay, great, great, great. So you already have most of the heavy hitters. And with that type of business, you're already somewhat front facing and needing a lot of online marketing and online business basics. So thank you so much for sharing that, Crystal. And I'll have to write that down for myself now as well, so I can make sure to check it out. Hey, Tasha, thanks for joining us. Tasha says, hello, my name is Tasha, and I'm the founder of My Walk with MG, a new nonprofit in St. Louis, Missouri. You are all set up on social media and also have a website. Okay, cool, cool. And if I could ask really quickly, if you all would like to post in the chat, who designed your website, or which design company, or did you work with a local individual to design your website? Did you get one of the free Google websites that I'll tell you all a little bit about during the presentation? Or did you go through one of those website building platforms such as Wix, Squarespace, or even GoDaddy? So just curious. And thank you so much for sharing, Tasha. And while you are, we have one more here from Bridget. Bridget says, hello, you're starting to edit your business and using Wix to build your site. Okay, cool, cool. Thank you, Bridget. And then DJ Whitaker says, or Donna says, good morning. Hello, Donna. I am attending the session to gain some information for future projects. Thank you so much for joining us. Carrie here says, I own Strategic Home Healthcare and currently have all the social media platforms and a website, but you do need to do a better job of utilizing them to bring in new clients. Crystal is using the Google Sites, is using Google Sites, and your sister and yourself built it. Okay, cool. Doing it from the ground up. Oftentimes that's a lot cheaper, and then you end up learning about the platform more. And then Tasha says here, I work with someone who has a small business that specializes in building websites for small businesses and nonprofits. Cool. So you got some expert help for yours. So as you can see, there are a lot of different ways to start building your business's online presence. Most of the time that will start with some type of traditional website, whether that's just a landing space with contact information, or even if that is a place for customers to actually buy and purchase products. But your online presence for your business typically starts with giving your customers a place to get more information about your products and services. Before you can even go further than that and determine what you want to go on your business's website or how you're going to use your business's social media pages, you want to start by doing a self-analysis of yourself as well as for your business and its customers. So one of the easiest ways that you can do an analysis for your company is a SWOT analysis. If anyone has heard of a SWOT analysis, please let me know in the chat. A SWOT analysis is a very popular way to segment your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Yes, the SWOT analysis is a great, great tool. You'll see Fortune 500 companies use it, nonprofits use it, and even support organizations like ourselves use it to better assist entrepreneurs like yourself. So if you all are somewhat familiar with the SWOT analysis, you might remember that the first parts of the SWOT analysis are going to be those strengths and those weaknesses of your business's current online presence right now. So right now, what are those things that your company is doing well online? Is your company doing a good job of consistently communicating with potential clients or customers on Facebook? Does your company have do a better job than your competitors of responding to potential customers' Facebook messages when they're asking questions about your services or hours of operation? But your strengths are going to be all of those internal factors internal factors that your business has that separates your business from its competitors. So what are those competitive differentiators that your business has when it comes to its online presence? And some of these internal resources can be tangible and some of them can be intangible, like having a knowledgeable marketing manager or having, sometimes it's a family member who's helping you with your online marketing for your business, and having a family member that may be strong in those skills that's assisting you. So that could be a strength for your company, but your strengths for your company are going to be everything internally strong for your business. And same token with the weaknesses. Weaknesses are all of those internal things that your company lacks from an online marketing perspective. Do you have a website, but have you not updated that website or posted anything new to it in 6 months? What are those things that your company is lacking internally from an online marketing perspective? And you can also look at weaknesses in the perspective of your competition as well. What does your business not do as well in comparison to competition online? If you are starting up, let's say, or if you have a bakery business, maybe you have a Facebook page, but one of the things that your competitors does very well that you don't is post every time you have an upcoming sale. So your strengths and weaknesses are going to be those internal factors that your business or that you have typically direct impact or control over. Your opportunities and threats are those external factors that still can have an impact on your business. So opportunities can include things like, let's say, for instance, an opportunity could be, when it comes to online marketing, opportunity could be something as simple as an interaction, a negative interaction that your competitor has had recently online that gives your business the opportunity to communicate with more customers in a positive light. Opportunities are going to be things that are outside of the direct control of your business that could still have an impact. So what are those key trends within your industry? What are those ways that you can potentially communicate with your customers differently, or how are those ways that you can may potentially communicate differently that may help you better reach those potential customers? And then same thing with threats. Is the cost of advertising online going to be going up in the near future? Or is the cost of you hosting your website going to be skyrocketing over the next year? And so you may have to find another website hosting a company. So you want to start by analyzing your current position in the online marketplace. Where does your business stand right now? And what are those trends that you see in the future? And Tasha says, yes, you're also familiar with the SWOT analysis and communication. And one of your strengths, you think, is your communication is consistent and strong. And that's going to be very, very important when you think about building your online business presence, because when you think about it from a consumer perspective, you want a company that you're interacting with to be consistent. That builds trust for the brand as well. So start off by doing a SWOT analysis for your company. After you've done that self-evaluation and that business evaluation, then you can start to think about the why behind going online. Why are you building this website? Why do you have these Facebook and Instagram pages? You always want to start off with a clear objective and goals for building anything related to your online marketing. So goals can be very, very macro. They can be on a very, very macro level. Okay, they can start at that macro level. So your goal starts by being something as simple as you want to generate a high volume of qualified leads. In the chat, I would love for you all to share with me, if you could, and I'll give you all just a couple of minutes to share. What are the main reasons that you all are taking or have your businesses online? What are the goals or just the reasons that you thought of when you thought about having a business website or creating those businesses' Facebook pages or Instagram pages? And you all can also take yourself off mute as well and share. You don't have to put it in the chat.
This is Tasha.
Hey, Tasha.
Hello. I like that with social media, I'm able to reach further than the United States. So with my organization and what our mission is, I've connected with so many people from East Africa, Iceland, Australia. literally everywhere. So social media has been a very positive goal that I set in place to get my message out.
Yep, it definitely helps to eliminate those boundaries that are traditionally there when it comes to business. And it allows you to still find people, because one thing I tell people about online based businesses is just because you don't have a geographical market area, online, there are still areas where people frequent. And so you're able to find areas online and on the internet where your business fits in. And you're able to find like-minded groups of people and individuals as well online that have those similar interests and passions and needs as you. And you all can use that to create some kind of synergy. So thank you so much for sharing, Tasha. And Vanna, I might not be pronouncing that correctly, I apologize, says, contact-free service. Yes, if you are offering, or you're a consultant and you are offering a service that can be offered online, having online presence allows you to provide that service during this economic disruption seamlessly and fluidly. And that can potentially separate you from competitors who might not have that good of a solution to customers. And Bridget says, my goals for my website are to provide a clear and concise explanation of your services, okay, which are freelance editing, and an easy way for potential clients to get started with you. Very, very good. That's one of having a website as a consultant or someone who's providing a service is an easy way for you to communicate your services upfront to your customers and hopefully get them to take that next step in the lead process. And then Crystal adds here, to reach more people and engage and interact. Very, very good goals. All of these are the start of something that we call a SMART goal. So all of these goals and objectives that you have start off kind of at that broad level. We know on a base level that we're using social media, we're using our online, our website, we're using our mobile apps even to connect with our potential customers, to be able to service them in more ways. But in order to get a solidified goal, we need to make sure that goal is SMART, okay? And so we have introduced a SMART way of goal setting. So every goal that you set in general for your business, but specifically related to its online presence, needs to be specific. So the best goals are always going to be very, very well defined and have a distinct focus. So rather than just saying that you are going to get more business or communicate with customers, you might actually decide, if you were the owner of that bakery, that you want to be able to sign up 10 new customers to your rewards program. Okay, so taking your macro level goal and then adding more detail to it, adding more specificness to it, okay? So at this stage of your goal setting process, you should be asking yourself some questions like what exactly it is you're trying to accomplish, what would success actually look like in numbers for you, and then why is this goal important? So when you're really trying to break down those broader level goals that we start off creating. So other than being specific, your goal for going online for your business also needs to be measurable. SMART goals are going to be quantifiable in some way. Otherwise, how can you track them? How do you really know what success is if you're not able to measure and track the potential success of that goal? So usually that means that you're going to need some type of number or percentage involved. So instead of saying that you have created that Facebook page and the goal of that Facebook page is to, let's say, sign up new clients in general, you can specifically say you want to sign up 10 new clients a month, or you want to increase your website page views by 15% in a month. So, because if you don't really put a finish line on that goal, you're not going to fully know when you've achieved it. The goal should also be attainable. Obviously, you don't want to create any goals. If you're just starting off your website, you may not want to say that my page views are going to increase by 90% over the next month. just from me posting one Facebook advertisement. So you want your goals to be attainable. You want them to be challenging, but yet achievable. Okay. And that also goes into everything with your business planning, especially your financials. When you're projecting for everything, you want those goals to be attainable, but still challenging and feasible. So to help yourself understand if the goal is attainable, you can ask yourself, how could you potentially accomplish that goal? So how attainable is that goal? What actual tangible actions will you have to take in order to get that goal achieved? The goal also needs to be time-based. You can't create a goal with numbers, percentages attached to it, and also not have a time frame in mind for when that goal will be completed. When you put a time frame to the goal, not only does it help you stay motivated, it helps you measure your success more accurately when you hit that time milestone. So when you say, I want to sign up or increase my business website page views by 20% in the next month, that creates a time frame for you to come back and check success on, versus just saying, oh, I'm going to sign or increase these page views over a random or unstated amount of time. So you want your goal to be SMART: relevant, realistic, time-based, attainable, still challenging, measurable, and specific. Anybody have any questions about the SMART goal at all? Okay. So there are 5 basic things you need to know when thinking about building your online presence or protecting or growing your online presence online, especially during an economic disruption. Simply put, you're going to need to know who you're talking to, your target market segments, what you need to say, what type of content to post, when you need to say it, where to say it, which platforms, and then figuring out how to implement all of these tools and resources and how to go out there and get started with developing these tools. First things first is figuring out who you are trying to talk to, who those target market segments are. So a target market refers to a group of customers that a company wants to sell its products or services to, and who will consistently find value in those products or services. Who has heard of a target market segment or target market segmentation at all, or any of that language in relation to marketing for their small business? Okay. Marketing segmentation is, simply put, the process of dividing a large group of people or a large target market segment into smaller, more defined categories. So when you segment a market, you are segmenting customers or different audiences into groups. And these groups of people typically will share similar characteristics. Okay. So the first step in doing market segmentation, if you haven't already started to do so, is to consider who your existing customers are. Who are your ideal customers right now? Why are they your ideal customers right now? Is it because they have the most money to spend on your products or services? Is it because they are in they have easy access to the services? They're in close proximity? What are the reasons that your current customers are purchasing or interacting with your business right now? Do the same thing for your product or service. So once you have once you do an analysis of who your customers are, and I will quickly plug Eleanor's team at the library, because they also have a suite of different market research tools that can help assist you with the market segmentation. But once you've started to analyze your existing customers, you also want to analyze what you're offering. What are the strengths and weaknesses of your products or services that you offer? Then you want to choose common demographic or psychographic traits. So there are a lot of different types of marketing segmentation. And on the next slide, I'm going to kind of show you some examples. But market segmentation allows you to target your customers based on their unique characteristics. It also allows you to create more effective marketing campaigns and find more opportunities in your market. One of my biggest pet peeves or trigger points when working with clients, and it happens all the time, is when you ask a client or if I ask an entrepreneur who their ideal customer is, you have the tendency to say, oh, everyone, or there's such a wide group of people that these services are for. And that's great, but keep in mind that you can sell to everyone, but you can simply put cannot target everyone. So when you segment the market, it makes it a lot easier for you to target those customers, create more effective campaigns, and then actually communicate with them consistently and communicate that value to them. So consumers who make up a target market, they may share similar characteristics in terms of where they are geographically. They may have similar buying power or buying patterns, and they may even have similar demographics and even income levels. Demographics is the study of population based on several different various factors. Demographic data typically refers to that socioeconomic information that we have expressed statistically for our population. So demographics usually include things like employment, education, income, marriage rates, household size, and more factors. So typically when you're segmenting your market, you start by identifying some similar demographic traits for your customers. You can also segment your market. Another common way, a type of segmentation is psychographic segmentation. And psychographic segmentation actually categorizes customers or your audience by factors that relate to their personality and characteristics. And then you also have behavioral segmentation, which takes into consideration a group of customers' buying behaviors and patterns. So on this slide here, we just have a few of the examples. I will be sending a copy of the slides out as part of the additional resources package from this class. So you all will have a copy of the slides as well. But if we take a look at this graphic, we just see some of the examples of the different segmentation types that are common. Now, depending on your business type and the industry that it's in, all the different types of segmentation are not going to be relevant for every type of business. So if you are an online-based business, starting off your segmentation process geographically might be more challenging for you to do. But as you can see with psychographics, don't be afraid to segment your customers and group your customers by things like their attitudes, their values, their lifestyle. All of those things are still important when creating a target market segment. After you figure out your ideal customer groups and who you are and who you're trying to communicate with online, the next step is determining what content to post. How many of us have been to a business's website, Facebook page, Instagram, or even Twitter, and their postings were either very, very repetitive, they were saying the same thing, talking about the same sale, talking about the same event, or they were selling you something over and over and soliciting your business without doing anything else. How many times has that happened to us when we went to a business's page or website? Because I know it's happened to me often. Yes, all the time. And so the first thing to think about when you're figuring out what content is right for both your website and your social media pages is understanding the top reasons why people typically reach out to brands on social media. The number one reason, according to Sprout Social, which is a website that I highly recommend for getting different marketing and research information related to online small business, but the number one reason why people reach out to brands on social media is to ask a question or get information, especially now during this economic disruption and COVID-19. How many times have we had to go to a business's website or Facebook page to get their updated hours of information or find out if they take cash versus just credit or debit cards. So people reach out to businesses on social media to get information. They also reach out when they have an issue or a question about something they've already purchased. And they still will reach out to brands on social media to comment positively about their experiences with that product or service. So you want to make sure that when you are posting online, and we'll get into some of the different platforms here shortly, you are diversifying your postings. You're making sure that you are not just selling to your customer, but you want to also do a balance of providing information within their industry. Because one of the main purposes of, one of the benefits of going online is that you're able to build a deeper relationship with your customers or clients, and it builds brand loyalty, okay? So make sure that your postings are diverse. You can also use online tools to find industry-specific info. So who has time, especially when you're running a business and you're doing everything else, you don't really have time to go out and find different content to post every day. So how do you find good quality vetted information and articles related to your industry? There are online tools, and I will put this in that follow-up email as well. One of them is called BuzzSumo. There are a host of different tools that are called content aggregators. These tools allow you to search in the search term. That could be bakery, that could be healthcare, it could be small business, and then it will find you a list of different content that has been vetted. This can be articles, newsletters from different places, all related to that industry for you to copy and use for your website content or social media content. So I will be sure to include those options in my follow-up email so you all can kind of use those tools. Yes, that's something that existed because honestly, you know how long it would take, and I've been there myself managing my organization's social media page, to go and try to find 10 different articles for that week to share. You know, so it can get very time consuming, especially when you're also the accountant and sales manager for your business as well. So I will definitely share those tools with you all. And one other thing to note when you are thinking about the right content to post, make sure that you are asking for contact information in everything that you do, if possible. Right now, an email address is almost worth as much as a pound of gold. So capturing a potential client or someone that can potentially find value in your product or service, maybe now or in the future, is very, very impactful. So when you are designing these websites, I'm sure that you already have a contact us field on the website, but maybe even giving them an opportunity to leave their contact information to get access to a newsletter or a giveaway. So get creative in the ways that you are asking for contact information within your online presence there. And finally, prepare for frequently asked questions. You know, as a consumer, when you go and you see the number one reason why people reach out to brands on social media is to ask a question. So try to prepare for your customers' needs ahead of time. If you know that you're always out of stock of a certain sandwich, or you know that your clients always have a specific question about your pricing structure before they interact with your nonprofit or your for-profit business, then try to prepare for that in some way in your online marketing efforts. So one of the tools that I would like to show you all, I'm going to turn off my screen share here and turn it on to this. Who, if anyone, has heard of a content calendar? A content calendar, and do you all see the content calendar on the screen? Okay, great. When you have 3 monitors, you never know which one is sharing. A content calendar, and Tasha, I see that you have, that's great. Now, my next question, Tasha, are you currently using your content calendar? That's the good question. Now, what a content calendar is once you find all of this content, That's great. That's great. It makes it a lot easier. Once you find all this content to post, how do you organize that content and get it actually on your social media platforms that you selected or onto that business website that you have designed and created? You need some way to keep everything organized. A content calendar does just that. So the content calendar will allow you to schedule your postings, allow you to put everything in, all the information in terms of the content that you will be posting, any images, the link that you will be using. And so you can pick one day of the week on a weekly basis, create your content calendar, schedule all of those postings. And so then from there, all you have to do is go out and actually post them. Okay, so it makes it a lot easier to keep track of everything and create an actual structure and strategy, and even allow you to tell a better story over time, versus just immediately, oh, I know I need to post something to Facebook today. Let me figure out what it is that I can post. So I'm going to be sending this content calendar template out to you guys so that you all can start to develop your first postings if you haven't been using one already. And let me go ahead and switch back here to the presentation. And there are a lot of different content calendar templates. And the one that we have here, there's ones that you can even get that will allow you to schedule for up to a month. But I like the week one because things change within a month. There may be new news or new information or new things that you have to share. So starting off with the week allows you to kind of come back to it a little bit quicker. And Tasha, great point here. You use the schedule posting options on Facebook. Yes, those are fantastic. Facebook does give you the ability to schedule postings now from your business page. My organization uses a content automating tool, and I will tell you a little bit about that once we talk about these platforms here. But we actually use and pay for a content automating tool, which allows you to take all the posts from your content calendar, copy and paste them into the content automation tool, and then it will post them at the time and date and platform of your choice. And so I do that on a monthly basis for our organization. So you have your content, you know who you're talking to. Now, when do you plan to post, not only to your website, but to social media as well? So this is a very dependent question. There is no blanket best time to post on any of these social media platforms because this is going to be very dependent on your target market segment and the type of business that you have. If you are a entertainment, recreational business, then these numbers may not best reflect the best times to post for you. However, typically the consensus for best times to post on Facebook, and this actually goes down the line for the other platforms, is going to be during the week. That's because during the week, well, typically we're supposed to be working, but we get distracted at work. We have some time on our hands there to be on our mobile devices, and even more so on our computers now that a lot of us may be working from home. So it is very, very safe for you all to schedule postings during the week, especially during the weekdays from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Now, Thursday was seen as the best day to post onto Facebook specifically, and Saturday is typically going to be seen as the worst day for Facebook engagement. And you can see that being true because on Saturdays, we're oftentimes spending time with friends and family or ourselves or even running errands. So Saturdays and the weekend are typically not the best days to post. I will even add from our personal experience and within our organization that if you are promoting an event and trying to get people to register, that Friday seems to be a very good day to get information out for events also. Also, just like the weekend, evenings and early mornings typically have the least amount of engagement during the day. Sorry about that. My audio always seems to drop out right at the same time every time I'm teaching, so I apologize. I was also saying that Facebook actually bought Instagram very, very recently. So the time to post for them, since they're kind of owned by the same entity now, is going to be very, very similar. So in terms of Instagram posting, the best times to post on Instagram are typically Wednesdays and Fridays during that same time slot from 10 a.m. to about 3 p.m. And Sunday is deemed the worst day to post to Instagram. You'll see the same thing with Twitter. Wednesdays and Fridays are seen as the best day to post. And then Saturday is seen as the worst day. So the best practice when thinking about timing for your postings is to start by, once again, an analysis of your customers, who they are, when they frequent the internet, and that will give you the best idea. And also using the social media analytics that they have to get an idea of when the best time for a peak engagement will be. Now, if I could get a quick poll from you guys, I know in the beginning, a few of you all mentioned that, most of you mentioned that you had a website. Some of you mentioned that you had Facebook and Instagram, but you all can maybe just post a number in the chat of how many different social media platforms your business is currently using. Are you just on one platform, and that's Facebook? Or are you on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter and Instagram? So how many social media platforms are you all using right now, or at least have pages set up on? And as you all type that into the chat, okay, you use 5. And are you all really using all 4 and 5 of these platforms consistently? Do you tend to use one more than the other? As you all type that into chat, you see here, Facebook is going to be your heaviest hitter in terms of number of users, 1.3 billion plus. The age range of Facebook users is going to be very, very wide. There is 60% female population on Facebook, but still a very, very large group of males. And you'll find that each of these different platforms have different benefits and downsides to them. So for those of you all who are using a lot of different social media platforms, try to make sure that you are structuring your time and effort onto these platforms adequately. So make sure that you're not overextending yourself on a platform that may not be the best fit for your target audience and how you're trying to reach them and what you're trying to communicate with them. Oftentimes, I'll ask my clients who are starting their businesses, oh, what social media do you want to use? They say, oh, all of them. I want to do Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, which doesn't exist anymore. And that's great. So you can have pages on all of them, but try if you're going to use all of the different platforms, make sure that you have a reason why and clear objectives and goals for your use of those platforms. My mother is starting a notary business, and I hate to pull her out there and throw her under the bus, but we were talking about her marketing plan, and she was saying that she was so overwhelmed because she felt like she couldn't really move forward without creating her business website, Facebook, and Instagram pages. And I asked her, well, mother, what is the purpose of this Instagram page? I get that it won't hurt you to have an Instagram page as a notary, but how are you, is that really the main way and the best way for you to communicate your value to that target audience? No. So the Instagram page should not be the least of your concern right now. So when you're analyzing what platforms you're going to use, make sure that you are picking the right ones for your business and your customers. So Facebook is going to be very, very good for building relationships because you can speak at length to your customers. You're not limited by any type of character limit. So it's very, very good for you to communicate consistently and create brand loyalty and build those deeper relationships because you can communicate with your customers over time. The downside to Facebook now is that it used to be you had a little bit more reach out there and you could go to other people's pages from your business page and communicate. Now you are limited to communicating with those who have liked your business's page. So there is a little bit of limited reach in that regard. Twitter is good for you to have quick conversation, provide news and information. It's very, very good for public relations because you can communicate directly with your customers quickly by mentioning them. But the limit of Twitter is that you are limited by a character limit. You're only able to type in a few sentences per message. Pinterest is going to be very, very good for those product-based businesses. Pinterest is like a visual scrapbook platform. So if you are trying to generate leads on a new product, Pinterest can be very, very impactful for that. But Pinterest and Instagram are going to be both visually based and image and video based. You can write captions, but most of your interaction on Instagram and Pinterest is going to be visual. So it will be a little bit harder for you to promote value on Instagram and Pinterest if you are a consultant or providing a service. YouTube is also going to be great if you're also providing a product. I know a lot of us in the call today are more service-based businesses, but keep in mind that YouTube can still be very impactful for service-based businesses by doing testimonials and success stories. People like to see and believe that someone else had success with something first before they try it. So if you're able to leverage YouTube in that regard, it can be impactful. And for all of you nonprofits, service-based companies, LinkedIn can be your best friend. So LinkedIn is almost like the professional networking platform. LinkedIn is very, very good for developing your business, also developing yourself as the owner professionally. You can interact and find out what's going on with other businesses and organizations, partner with them. You are limited in your LinkedIn interactions to who is on your friends list on LinkedIn, but very, very powerful if you are needing to intersect with other businesses and do business to business work as well, or organization to organization work as well. Google Plus, I will not talk about since Google Plus is no longer, but it was Google's attempt at a social networking platform. It ended up being very, very techie and male dominated, and they ended up getting rid of it sometime last year. And as we wrap up today's presentation, let's talk a little bit about how you can accomplish some of these goals that we set. The first step is for you to go ahead and create that content calendar, okay, which I will be emailing to you guys, and then figuring out your strategy for automating your posts or getting the post out there. Are you going to use one of the post automating tools, which will just schedule things for you and post them for you? Are you just going to set a date and time, a time each day to get those posts out there? And then finally, you want to get yourself very, very comfortable, and this is something that we could do a one-on-one counseling session on, is getting comfortable with those insights and metrics that the social media platforms and your website should give to you to analyze. So you actually have access to a lot of different data and information regarding who is accessing your platforms. And so you want to get better and better and learn how to use those insights in order to create more of a marketing message. So two last things that I want to show you all that I will be sending. And I've closed this out on Google My Business. So let me pull up the screen share here. Has anyone, and I'm sure you all have, did a Google search for their favorite restaurant or did a Google search to find out what time something closed and seen that business listing pop up right on Google? Anybody use Google for that in that capacity before? Yes. That's one of my favorite ways to use Google, is to get that type of information. And so you all as entrepreneurs have the ability to set up a free Google My Business profile. And this is something the SBDC, we're actually Google My Business partners. Does anyone already have their Google My Business profile set up already? And you all can also unmute yourselves too. If not, it's very, very impactful, and it's free for you to set up. So when you set up the Google My Business profile, it allows you to add in photos from your business, hours of operation. Even if you're a service-based company, you don't have to put your address on there. You can select the service area based on different zip codes. It will also allow you to, so once you create that Google My Business listing, you own that listing. So now you can come in and manage that listing, make changes to it, respond to customers' reviews if they leave those. And it also allows you to create your own free website. Now, this website will be extremely basic. It will definitely just be a landing page for you, for your business, but it does give you a website if you don't have one already. And then another powerful feature is once you own your Google My Business listing for a while, they will eventually start giving you insights to see how customers are searching for your business. And then you can even start getting into increasing your SEO, which we didn't get into that today, but that's increasing your search engine optimization, okay? And search engine optimization is just how often or how likely it is for your business to populate higher in those search results lists. So the first step into increasing your search engine optimization is to create the Google My Business listing. So I will be sending this one-sheeter over to you guys, but keep in mind that I am a Google My Business partner. So this is something that I can also help you walk through via a one-on-one meeting. And finally, the last helpful tool for you all to get started on your online marketing journey is going to be, I have so much open. Here we go. I am going to be sending you all a comprehensive social media strategy template guide. So we talked about kind of the basics on how to get started with things. This social media strategy guide will allow you to fill in all of these blanks and answer the questions we need to actually get started with implementing a marketing strategy. So it will ask you to choose your social networks, analyze what your competition is doing, think about what type of topics you're going to share and talk about the content you're going to share, and actually allow you to kind of document exactly your plans for your online marketing engagement. And Tasha, definitely, I will be sending out a follow-up email to everyone, all of the participants today, with all of that information as well. And with that, I think that is all I had, unless there were any questions for me. And thank you all so much for joining.
And thank you, Amina, for this great presentation.
All right. Well, Eleanor, I look forward to receiving the list of emails from you. And I know that you will quickly talk about our next month's offering. I can quickly talk about it if you like. Next month's offering is actually going to be a deeper dive into some marketing strategies. We will be discussing and learning about a tool called the Business Model Canvas, and specifically the Value Proposition Canvas. So the Value Proposition Canvas is a visual way for you to determine your key customer segments and what your value proposition or your promise to them is. So in that class, we will be going over how to create a value proposition canvas, which is directly related to segmenting your market and figuring out and providing that value to them consistently. So hope you all can join us.
I hope so too. And the link is in the chat. And I will also send out a link to that when I send out a link to the recording, which will probably be sometime next week. And we hope to see you there.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.